assumed that people would stay in the base state if they seek to become a citizen of, when in fact they're free to go anywhere in the EU once they hold the citizenship of one of these countries. So it's only understandable then that Balibar suggests a concept of citizenship that entails a deterritorialization of citizenship, and he assigns a decreasing importance to the national frame of reference. Borderlands have been long understood by Balibar, by Sparta, by Gettilanti as regions of connectivity and interpenetration of neighbors. So it's transcultural citizenship in Europe that I can only sketch very roughly, and hoping for your ideas here to develop that further, because it's just an idea for the time being. That transcultural citizenship in Europe starts with the question how a truly democratic European space can be created, not with any particular cultural identity, European identity, or national identity, but it presupposes multiple possible identifications. Neither globalization nor Europeanization in this sense are defined as movements towards a uniform culture, or at least a culture which is clearly dominated by certain countries or companies. If we accept the dialectics between rights and identity that Benafit identifies ideas of culture and political citizenship which converge, then citizens would start considering themselves as citizens of Europe, and they would be entitled to certain rights and duties. Questions of identity and legitimacy of Europe are working from top down and bottom up, but these do not always really engage. It is not necessary. And one reason they do not engage is that we have imperfect European institutions and an unfinished political Europeanization. Ideas of European superstate top down do not really meet with the cosmopolitan ideas of increasing mobility. In this sense, citizenship in Europe can be seen as utopian, you might say, as an advancing of a world state, or as a test case of a world state was seen like that by Habermas and others. Rainer Baubeck warned of a challenge of a misguided ideal of homogeneity that still lurked in the debates on citizenship, and this idea is inherent, if not implicit, in the ideas of Gerd Wilders and other right-wing politicians, and in the debates, like the Sarrazin debate we've had in Germany. In these debates on immigration and integration, where you always think there's one homogeneous society which needs to integrate newcomers, rather than there's one society which needs to live together, which is a totally different approach. Rereading Balibar helps to think about overcoming this old approaches. He started with asking for legal status and passive citizenship, so thin concepts of citizenship, but he did so on the basis of acknowledging diverse political and cultural identities. He neither took the dimensions of memberships or rights for granted, nor those of applications and practices. Citizenship in Europe gives an idea of an understanding of a European citizenship, and it's different from the ideas of not only national citizenship, also of Kimlicker's approach, for example. It's neither a shared territory nor shared history or languages can easily be defined. Such a perception of citizenship in Europe would instead allow for multiple identifications that are not ranked hierarchically. Klein's definition of citizenship prevents from getting trapped in debate on which kind of multiculturalism has failed or not, at which point on whom to blame. These debates on integration are considered, they are simply not constructive when it comes to live together. As long as such exclusivist models are being followed, Sarrazin-like debates cannot be prevented. So no model of citizenship can can help to solve any of the current financial problems, but it might contribute to prevention of further exclusive tendencies and to renationalization through citizenship tests, for example, or other measures that are focused only on national entities and not on the European, on Europe. Rather, it would have to be complemented, such an idea of citizenship in Europe, by citizenship education along these lines, and by more inclusive society and politics, an open understanding of European identity, as I've sketched in the first part of the talk. Here, establishing a citizenship in Europe would then, I think, be a way to institutionalize this open understanding of European identity. The thing is, of course, that you can say, now I've come up with a fuzzy, undefined ending to a fuzzy, undefined identity. But that seems to be the crucial thing. I mean, we have a European Union that's marked by diversity, and if we want to make this diversity work, how do we do that, and how do we allow for that? And again, I would suggest that we need some more creative solutions to it, and some new understandings of politics and citizenship. Thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to your comments and questions.
An invitation for questions or comments? Yes.
Hi, thanks, Lars. My name is Georg-August-University. Listening to a very interesting session. I've spent a lot of time in Eastern Europe prior to the fall of communism and subsequently after. And while staying there predominantly in Monash, everybody was very, very keen to enter the European Union and join the political and trade, I suppose, situation. But since this has happened, what's been happening in these countries is the rebirth of nationalism. They're so strong in nationalism, and you can see the portrayal predominantly in any sporting activities. If you look at soccer or whatever, Europe is, well, not only Europe, but everywhere these days. There's nationalism shown in sports because there's no wars, actually. That's the only way to compete with other nations. And the other situation, I suppose, if you look at some of these countries, they don't print the money anymore as well, looking at the other side of the equation. So, personally, I find it difficult to see of a situation where one will become a European national, so to speak. So, you go into that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I refer to the Sarrazin debate in Germany. Probably not familiar with that. I hope at least. I hope it didn't make its way to Australia. It wasn't that bad. But that's a debate that we had in Germany for 2 years now, following an interview in the book by a politician who said that well, Arabs and Turks, to quote him, would not have any real role in society to play other than selling vegetables on the market. And following this interview, very understandably, there was a big debate about integration and why it failed and what to do. And I mean, this interview, this book is very racist, and it's been reviewed by politicians accordingly. But in this debate, it was about what people can contribute to society economically. I mean, what justifies their being there. And there was no mentioning in all this debate